Endgame, let's talk about the real way Infinity Gauntlet ends. A lot of us weren't expecting to see this ending take place with this giant mega blockbuster movie.
Yeah, I think if you read the comic and you went to see the movie, you might have been surprised by the way they ended.
People were investing in Mephisto heavily, Nebula heavily. We have cosmic beings people were speculating on possibly making an appearance because of this issue we're here to talk about today. Infinity Gauntlet, issue number 5. This is the issue where things get, the comics and the movies are clearly different. We've been covering the Infinity Gauntlet saga for over a year now. We are coming towards the end. But this is really the issue where things split entirely, because up until this point, we have some things that were similar. Thanos does the snap. Thanos takes out the Avengers, takes out all of our heroes. But it's here where Thanos decides to take on the cosmos.
Yeah, we saw in the last issue of Infinity Gauntlet, the main event, we saw all of our main characters coming at Thanos. You know, they threw everything at him. You know, Doctor Strange, Hulk, Wolverine, Cyclops, everybody got taken out, and Thanos was supreme. And then every cosmic being in the galaxy decided to show up, like Galactus, and then like the Watcher is there, and now we're gonna see them. They're totally gonna win, though, I'm sure.
Right?
Right?
Thanos he's just one small person. He's going up against essentially gods.
Plural. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. There's not just one god. He's fighting everybody.
But by the end of this issue, we're going to see things go an entirely different direction. We're not going to see Thor slice anyone's head off.
No, we're not going to see any Stark Tech gauntlets.
No.
Either.
No, we're going to see Thanos become an ally. So hit that subscribe button. We cover a lot of comic books, and we're going to dive into the alternate version, the alternate ending to the Infinity Gauntlet right here, right now, with some foreshadowing in the first couple pages.
Yeah, that's true. We've got Thanos is still fighting, or about to fight all these cosmic beings.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, Eros, his brother, is still kind of at that palace that they've been at this whole time with Thanos and Death. And Nebula and Mephisto. Mephisto is talking to Eros in this like throne that he's sitting on. He's got no mouth. Thanos took his mouth off a while ago. He's kind of like got these future handcuffs on.
Mephisto says still the outcome of this event remains uncertain. They are waiting to find out just how big this battle's going to be.
He also slips in a little sly hint. I'm not sure how aware he is of the future. I don't think Mephisto knows the future. But he slips in a little hint saying, like, there's not going to really be any time here to worry about this place we're standing on now, or perhaps any relatives of Thanos. I mean, he's speaking directly to Thanos' brother. He's got Nebula in the foreground, his supposed daughter. He's dropping some hints in here that are foreshadowing the ending of this whole event. But at the time, you might not pick up on that because you don't know what's coming.
That's right, Ryan. But before we see what's coming, we see Thanos demonstrate full power.
You could safely say he's at like the peak of his abilities in this single issue. He's had the most practice with the stones, the Infinity Gauntlet itself. He's displaying the full extent of all of the things he's learned this whole time, and it's page after page after page of just eye-bleeding splendor.
Color, it is amazing. The line work is great. And visually, it's like you can't even comprehend what you're seeing, because if this was reality, you wouldn't be able to comprehend what you're seeing.
No, and it's almost, I don't know. It's almost too much, I think. As a reader, you're flipping these pages and you're like, this is some crazy artwork we're looking at. Like, you can't tell what you're looking at. It just looks like really bright lights.
It's got to be as chaotic as possible, because we have these cosmic beings now entering the battlefield. We have the Celestials coming in that need to be taken out, and they get taken out quick.
Yeah, they try to throw some planets at Thanos. Doesn't work. He just blasts them. He blasts them right out of the sky.
It's a really cool shot of him. It's like almost DBZ style. But then we also have Kronos coming in now, and he tries to send Thanos back in time, tries to just displace him. But with that time stone, that's not going to work. Time is not going to be a tool you can use to rectify the situation.
It would have been really cool because, I mean, he just throws him back in time. Like, that would stop anybody else.
It would be convenient if they could just go through time and maybe collect the gauntlet, get some stones, change the future by changing the past in some way or using them and bringing them. But you can't do that.
That could never work.
That couldn't work.
No.
Oh, wow. We got to think of something else. Interesting. Oh, all right.
Serendipitous.
And then we're going to go on because he's causing so much chaos, so chaotic that we have to get Master Chaos and Lord Order into the battlefield, but not for long.
No, they don't last long, and they try some weird thing where they each kind of split Thanos in half. Kind of, they try and split him in half, like his chaotic half and his orderly half.
That's right. The
Doesn't
line
work.
work gets sharper on one end and gets all wavy in the other. It's actually a really cool panel.
It's really cool. Yeah, you can definitely see like the two halves of Thanos there, but he's such a single-minded, independent spirit that nope.
All right.
Doesn't work.
And then the last team to try to stop Thanos is Mistress Love and Sire Hate, trying to get him confused. But this mad titan recognizes that he is going mad by a third party and puts a stop to that immediately.
I mean, on the one hand, I guess it's kind of cool that they're trying all these different ways to stop Thanos, but you got somebody who tries to fight him with time, and you got these two guys trying to stop him with mind powers. He's got all that on his hand. You know?
We've been through this so many times.
Yes, Thanos stops all of them.
But what is super fun about this whole battle is that Thanos is blowing up everything.
They talk about it like, yeah, we won't even be able to ever count like the billions and billions and billions of people that are dying because solar systems are getting wiped out. Like, just chaos is happening, like rippling outwards from where they are.
Stars are exploding.
Right.
Reality is bending. Planets are imploding. This is so bad. This is so crazy that in the very beginning of this issue, we have the Watcher saying that he is even worried about the condition of the universe right now and the path that it's on. Well, you know, when the Watcher is saying he's worried, stuff's not going well.
Time to worry.
It's time to worry, and this is the moment that the Watcher's worried about. We see Silver Surfer and Warlock floating in space on rocks. This panel is fantastic.
They specifically mention how like, well, we're lucky.
That's right.
Glad we didn't get killed.
But you know who else is lucky?
Who?
Two people that you wouldn't expect. Mephisto and Nebula. And why are they lucky? They're floating in a bubble. A bubble that isn't created by Thanos. It's not created by Warlock or Doctor Strange or Silver Surfer or any hero up until now. Not Taraxia.
None of them.
None of them. It's created by Death.
This is my favorite part of the issue.
What is happening right now?
My favorite part of the issue.
Death is aiding our heroes.
She's actively working against Thanos at this point. She goes out of her way to rescue the two people that he probably dislikes the most.
Why?
Exactly.
It's a good question. I want to pose this to the community because this is
Ah.
a conversation that's bigger than this episode. Why would Death start to change sides? And I think that it's part of a larger conversation about Thanos' current condition. I think
Right.
that if we were to look at Thanos in the very beginning of this series, issues 34 through 40, when you find out his whole reasoning behind this, the gauntlet, him wielding the gauntlet, collecting the stones, wiping up half the universe.
That was his original mission.
And only part of that was Death's mission.
Yeah.
The gauntlet was never part of Death's plan.
No, that's just a thing he figured out to like make it easier to wipe everybody out. But her only command was like, yeah, get rid of all these people. Do what you want, but make it so there's less people.
So you have to assume that him going down this route
Yeah.
was the main problem that she had. And it's this moment where you see her going up against Thanos now, her changing sides, where it's validated, at least in my eyes. Would love to hear the opinion of the communities down below of how Thanos lost Death's interest.
Or did he ever even really have Death's interest? The whole relationship between the two of them, I think, is I'm coming to learn that it might be my favorite aspect of this whole story so far.
It's an interesting part, and this is the first time we're actually seeing her do something, really. So this is a pivotal moment in this whole run, and it makes you stop, and it makes you think so hard. But not before we move on
There's no time to dwell on this kind of stuff.
We can't. I mean, this whole thing is happening in seconds. There are so many issues taking place in between moments like this that it's hard to compute all the events, but there is something momentous happening right now.
Hellfire.
Yeah.
The last attempt that is made on Thanos and the Gauntlet is Mephisto using Hellfire to distract him while he tries to yank the Gauntlet right off his hand, which is another last-minute kind of betrayal.
That question mark out of nowhere. Thanos wasn't expecting this to happen.
Neither was I. Really. It was awesome.
This is crazy. He had the Mind Stone the whole time. He never used it on Mephisto. That's what that had to have meant.
Which is yet another layer of Thanos's like mind state right now. Like he's
It's
not
like it's
even
a drug or something.
like Mephisto is a given in his mind. Like this guy who's clearly shady. He's a demon. Like just look at him. You know, he's got.
His name's Mephisto.
Right?
Like, he sounds like a shady guy.
He doesn't look trustworthy. Let's just put it that way. I'll judge him by his appearance because
He's got a lot of pointy aspects to him.
a lot of points.
Too many points.
Too many points.
You can't trust the guy at too many points.
You can't. But Thanos does, even though he literally doesn't need to trust anybody because he can read everybody's mind in the whole universe.
And this is it. Ultimate madness. He's going to end this character. Mephisto isn't going to make it this time around.
Yeah.
And you know who knows that?
Who?
Death. Death knows that. Because what does she do?
She saves Mephisto.
She saves Mephisto.
She's my favorite in this issue.
What is going on?
I don't know.
Again.
I want to know what the hell's going on with this lady.
I offered you the universe. That's what Thanos says to Death. This whole thing.
So she doesn't want the universe.
She doesn't.
She never said that.
Nope.
She wants less people in the universe. But she never wanted to be like queen of the entire universe next to him. Like this whole mad plan that he's got ever since he got the gauntlet and got all the gems and the power. It's just crazy. It's crazy to think about. Like the whole the ripple and the ramifications of everything that's happened since he got this kind of absolute power. And she really doesn't want any part of it. And she hasn't been shy about, you know, being upfront. She's given him all these stone cold looks the whole time. Like, I'm not digging you. You know, this isn't working on me. So
yeah. Stop calling, yo. You got to stop texting. Got to give it some time.
Poor Thanos.
Poor Thanos. And we also got to mention that we have Silver Surfer and Warlock here. They're floating in space, and Silver Surfer sees all these planets and universes just crumbling down. I mean, heck, we have like reality portals opening up on Earth here, unleashing things from the negative zone. Like it is really bad stuff. And Silver Surfer, he recognizes one of these planets in a particular solar system and demands to go check it out. Yeah. Because like we know that Silver Surfer has had some major character growth in the last few issues. And I just mentioned this because you see him and Warlock floating in space, you know, trying to see if they can try to save anybody.
Well, Surfer goes to check out this planet that he remembers, and Adam Warlock's like, you don't want to go check that out. There's going to be a bunch of dead people over there. Like, you don't want that.
I like that this was thrown in there because we had so many crossover issues that just kind of built up to this moment. It makes it so much more important than it actually is if you just read this one within the one.
If you read the 6
continuity.
issues, Silver Surfer is almost like an annoyance in this whole run. He's just some guy that keeps getting in the way of all the Thanos fighting and the craziness.
The clash.
But he's the main character of this whole run.
And then we move on to the last battle. Thanos versus Eternity.
3 guesses. Who wins?
This is interesting because Adam Warlock says the battle has already been decided. Adam Warlock has a tie to the Soul Gem, so he knows things that he himself doesn't even understand how he knows. But what he does know is that the winner of this battle was already determined because the loser was going to forfeit it.
That's a little confusing, but it will make more sense as we go on.
Because Thanos destroys Eternity.
He does.
Takes the place of the ruler.
It's pretty cool. That scene of him like kind of see-through in the stars.
He's the ruler of the universe now. He did it. And he even goes as far to say that this was his plan from the beginning.
Sure.
Which it wasn't.
You'd think this is his crowning moment and the peak of his achievement, but this is really the beginning of the end for Thanos. Like he forgoes his physical being, sitting in that chair on his throne planet thing that he built. He's just sitting there. He's lifeless. He's a god now. He's a spirit. So his body, with the gauntlet, is just sitting there, completely unresponsive.
That's right. We have a lifeless Thanos because his soul, technically, is now eternity. He is in the cosmos, which leaves him vulnerable. And who takes advantage of the vulnerability?
The last person anybody expected.
The person that a lot of people expected to see having more of a place in the movie, we have Nebula, the half-life Nebula. She's floating between life and death this entire run. She's been tortured.
Right.
She's been made fun of. She's been harmed in so many different ways, mentally and physically.
She's like the Theon Greyjoy of Infinity Gauntlet.
That's right. And this is a moment that I think was kind of like missed in the movie. I was really hoping that this is something we would see.
I'm actually glad the movie took a different route to getting to the end, because if we'd gone in there kind of, we know, comic readers, we know how it ends. We know who's responsible. So it's kind of cool to see them subvert those expectations as you finish the movie. And it's not Nebula who saves the day.
Nebula throws that gauntlet on and immediately gets revenge.
Yeah. She kind of just teleports Thanos and his lady lover Taraxia out into space, and they're floating, for forever.
This
Just
happens
floating in the void.
so quick. In a moment, the gauntlet changes hands, and we have a defeated Thanos. He is in the middle of space, recognizing that Taraxia can't breathe in space.
Oops.
So she immediately dies.
Yeah, he did not give her space breathing
Whoopsies.
when he created her.
Gotta give space breathing capabilities when you're wearing that gauntlet, creating people for your
Come on.
bedroom. Oh,
Especially if you're just floating in space on some white death palace.
yeah, especially.
Come on, Thanos.
But he even says, I guess I have to just now float in space.
Just me and my failures for the rest of eternity, thinking about all the things I did wrong.
Holy smokes. But no.
Nope.
What is this?
It's a portal.
A portal to Doctor Strange. What?
Think of how cool that would have been in the movie.
What
In the
is
movie.
going on
Ah.
again? There's so many what's going on moments in this comic, but we see a portal that brings Thanos back to headquarters.
Right? Back at the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Immediately, Silver Surfer's like, Silver Surfer here is doing what Thor did upon arrival. He's like, wait, what's Thanos? Thanos is here? Cut his head off.
I'm going to kill him.
Kill him. Kill him. Kill him. What are you doing? He's here. Kill him. There's no pause in Silver Surfer. He is go for the neck. Boom. But it gets paused because Adam Warlock demands him to stop.
Yeah, as usual, Warlock's thinking a few steps ahead of everybody else.
Warlock's on a completely different. He's playing a different game.
You talked about it earlier. You brought it up how he was in the Soul Gem for a while. He's gained some insight into the way Thanos operates.
A little bit more than insight. He says that he actually knows Thanos better than Thanos knows himself.
Kind of stops Thanos in his tracks too. You can see it. And he's taken aback and shook.
Because he knows he's right.
Yeah, Warlock definitely just cuts him open. He's like, "This is all the things that you did wrong."
Ryan, why would Adam Warlock prevent Thanos from being attacked? Why would Adam Warlock prevent Thanos from being killed? What does Adam Warlock know?
He knows that Thanos is kind of self-defeating. That he's kind of gotten his hands on absolute power a few different times in his history throughout the comic books. And each time he has kind of left the back door open for somebody to come in and defeat him.
Deep down, Thanos knows he's not worthy of absolute power. Thus, having had power of the gauntlet in the past makes him an asset for them to stop the new danger, Nebula.
I guess it makes sense. Nebula spent the past few months getting tortured and burned alive and, just stuck in this crazy limbo, and who knows what the hell's going on in her mind. So you give somebody like that crazy absolute god powers, and I guess that's worse than Thanos having those same powers. I mean, at least Thanos has some experience with the abilities that are now at her control. I guess it's just really a matter of degrees at that point, like who's worse.
Well, we're going to find out here as we look at the next issue, because now the new baddie, the new dangerous person to the universe is Nebula. Thanos is on our team now. He even says that he will do it. He will be part of the group, even if it's just temporary, to stop the new danger to the universe.
Even if it's a 1 in a million chance.
Yes, right
Yeah.
there. Okay, so let's talk about that
Okay,
then. So
okay.
in the movie, we have a very, very pivotal scene, Doctor Strange and Tony Stark.
Everybody remembers that from the end of Infinity War.
That's right.
When Doctor Strange goes into the future with the time stone and he sees all the different possibilities, the 14 million different ways that they lose.
That's right.
And the one option that they have to succeed.
This is a freaking brilliant scene. And watching the movie, it's moving. It really is. They did a really good job setting this all up.
I loved especially how they set it up in one movie and then paid it off in the second movie. So that moment when you see Doctor Strange hold up one finger to Tony in the middle of that battle with no dialogue or any references to anything, it just conveys so much. And just seeing this 1 in a million phrase get referenced here right at the end of this issue, but it makes you think like they were paying closer attention, I think, to the comic than you would think at first glance.
But it's not mentioned by Tony Stark.
Mm-mm.
It's not mentioned by Doctor Strange. It's mentioned by Thanos. Thanos is the one to say we have a 1 in a million shot.
What a weird book.
What an interesting take. We do appreciate your time today. We are busting through these issues, having a lot of fun doing it. Hit that subscribe button. We are covering all of the Infinity Gauntlet saga, and we ain't stopping here. We're going to keep it going because we have so many comic books to talk about.
There's quite a few comic books in existence in the world, as you can see.
We do appreciate your time today, comic fan. As always,
don't forget to geek responsibly.
Enough said. Thanks so much for watching the video. I want to remind everybody in the community that we are giving away an Avengers #1, a Cap 100, and an Iron Man #1, and the directions on how to enter this free giveaway that you could be part of. Well, it's all down below in the description.